Welcome to the Cheap Air Gunner channel. It's Cherokee Steve. Wow, what a strange past 24 hours have been. After posting up that video that I titled "The KT HPA is back, baby," I did some more shooting with it, and the velocity numbers were down. And let me show what I was getting. After getting those numbers, I did some quick thinking, and it seemed kind of obvious. The one thing between getting the high velocity 800, even 900 plus feet per second readings that I got, there was one thing that I did between those shots and the lower velocity shots, and that was I installed the moderator back onto the end of the barrel. And it was very difficult getting it on. It was a very, very tight fit. So it involved a lot of firm, strong twisting to get it on. And all I could think of that might cause that drop in velocity was if I had been twisting the barrel itself as well as the moderator. Now, even though the screws, there are grub screws, one of which is retained from the stock breech and one I added just to have two. There is, with the 24-inch barrel and, twisting a moderator on at the very end, there's a lot of torque being exerted on the opposite end of the barrel. So I thought that might be a problem. So I took the breech back off, and sure enough, the top of the valve certainly wasn't round. It had contorted in some way, I'm sure, based on the twisting I was doing with the moderator. Here's a picture of the top of that particular transfer port. So I made a new transfer port, matched up the length with the one that came out, installed it, been very careful in reinstalling the breech barrel assembly, and was very pleased with the velocity numbers I was getting. I didn't have anything close to 900 feet per second, but very consistent. I did 4 shots. Here's 3 of the velocities out of those 4 shots that I got. So all the shots were above 840, pushing 850 feet per second. Now, that was with 12.65 grain Beeman pellets. That's producing, at that velocity, that's over 20 foot-pounds of energy. So I was pretty happy. Last night, after getting off of work, I went home. I was planning on doing a couple of more shots and verifying that the velocity was holding up. Unfortunately, when I got down to the basement and picked up the KT HPA, there was absolutely no air left in the tank or the system itself. So, filled up the tank with about 10 MPa of air. Noticed it was leaking at that same notch that I had the issues with before. Took it apart, replaced the O-ring with numerous O-rings once again. I could not find an O-ring that would seal the surface between the regulator where it attaches to the bottle, in between the bottle and the Z elbow. I just gave up. last night, I get home late enough as it is, and decided, for whatever reason, whatever O-ring it was, I'm definitely 100% sure that out of all the O-rings I tried, there must have been at least 5 different O-rings in various sizes and thicknesses that I tried. I'm sure one of them had to have been the one that at least sealed for a certain length of time between the previous leaking and now. That was all done with the same O-ring set. So I decided I would just go to bed and sleep on it. Waking up, I remember a subscriber had mentioned before about needing to use a washer in between the Z-elbow where it attaches to the regulator, the area where that relief notch is located. Obviously, we're talking about a washer that needs a fairly large OD, slightly smaller but large ID to fit over the threads on the end of the regulator. So upon getting to work, I just took a regular stainless steel washer. I chucked it up in a collet in a lathe, and use a boring bar to open up the ID of it to the point where it would fit over the OD of the regulator threads. The OD of the washer itself matched up fairly well with the diameter of the regulator, and let me show that. So now I am on my dinner break, and it's just a matter of waiting, getting home, reassembling the air system of the gun, and seeing if it'll hold air. So I went from being super excited about the power numbers I was getting to being extremely disappointed that it wasn't holding air again. So hopefully I can get this all worked out, and I'll see you after everything gets tested.